This season has had its fair share of bugs. However, it does feel like Blizzard has been addressing a lot more of these bugs right out of the get-go. I really do like this approach. They've been tackling a lot of the things that have been bugged that can actually potentially break the game. A lot of the witch powers have already been brought down and brought back up. Things in the new Headhunt zone have been pulled and then revamped and then brought back. This approach to the season is probably going to increase the longevity and the player base that are going to be staying with us this season. February 4th, this coming Tuesday, we're going to get a brand new set of patch notes with a ton of fixes in them. I'm going to highlight some of the important ones and some of the ones that are standing out to me. I'm going to have a link to the patch notes in the description of the video so you guys can check it out. They're going to be taking on a slew of different updates and fixes. Looking at bug fixes for the Dark Citadel, so if anybody's doing that, or if anybody wants to do that, I have a really great tutorial on it, and I'm also going to start doing runs and carries and teaching people how to do it. So make sure you stop by the live stream. I'm live every night. Various miscellaneous fixes. This one right here is actually a really great fix. They're just going to be updating the tooltip that's going to inform players that Resolute means that it's not going to affect the entire party. All they did was enter Resolute or United, but there was really no descriptor of whether or not it was going to be affected the whole party or just you. So when you get a Resolute tribute, that only affects you and not the entire party, even if you put the tribute in and run with a party. With that tooltip change, it's a small thing, but it's also going to be very beneficial to a lot of people. Season of the Witchcraft. They're going to be updating a lot of things, and this one is probably going to be the most important one for a lot of you out there. There's been a lot of people that have been talking about this. The spawn rate for the Forgotten Altars has been increased. On Tuesday, they're going to increase the rate that they're going to spawn. They also fixed where sometimes they weren't spawning when they were supposed to be spawning. So that's going to be fixed right away. So next Tuesday, you should be able to find all of the rest of the lost powers that you haven't found yet and upgrade all of the ones without having to spend any of your Restless Rot in order to upgrade them. This one is actually pretty cool. They're adding in more ravens in the Headhunt zones. Now you won't have to run quite as far in order to turn in your whispers. You can just run right to wherever the new ones are, and they're adding those in. They are also going to be adding in 2 brand new whisper bounties. I'm kind of excited to see what they are. I liked what they did with the new ones this season, so they're going to be adding in some new ones, so that's going to be pretty cool. They're updating the armory. Somebody actually was asking me this question just the other day. How do you delete builds? Well, they're now adding in a button so you can delete those loadouts for you. They're also going to do a whole bunch of updates to the overall user experience for the armory. And the armory locations in multiple cities has been adjusted to make them easier to interact with. So hopefully they're going to be a little bit easier to see, and then they'll be in a much better place for you to interact and swap your builds out. Season of Witchcraft. They are updating a lot of issues right now. This is all of the changes that they're going to be making. They're making changes to some of the Death and Decay augments. They're making some changes to the Doom Orb. They're making a whole bunch of different visual and actually functional adjustments to the powers, including what was probably a very, very fun bug down here. Fix an issue where the grow powers could cause summoned minions to grow multiple times when transitioning between zones. And jokingly, no one could stand in the path of the Swole Golem. The Swolem. Good. I like it. I'm on board. Headhunts and Whisper Zones. So they're making a whole bunch of adjustments to the Whisper Zones to make sure that it looks a lot better for us. There's a lot more updates to how this is going to be. A lot of the visual effects weren't happening. I'm sure if you were doing the patrol events, you got to see where sometimes the radius was super big and sometimes the radius would shrink down really small and you could never find them. So they're updating things like that. They're fixing the issue where elite monsters spawned by the frogs and the entangled villagers would run away. This one happened to me all the time. The very first time I saw it, I didn't even know if I should go chase after it, if I should just go find another one. So they're going to be adjusting that too. So that's going to be a great change. Root holes. These are a favorite this season. They're so good. There's so much materials, a chance for a fugitive head. If you have not gone out and done one of these, make sure you go do it. As you turn in your whispers, the keys will be dropping. So if you're like me and when you see the Nightmare Sigils drop, you don't even bother picking them up because your bags are full of them, make sure you look for the root holes because they look exactly the same. You want to get those and then run the root holes. They're very, very good. With the buff to the Restless Rot, we should be seeing more people getting their occult gems. They're fixing some issues with the occult gems. One of my favorites, the Dust Stone, they fixed an issue where it wasn't working properly. They'll be adjusting some things with the seasonal quest line as well. There were a couple issues with it when people are going through and completing that, so this is going to help a lot also for everybody that's just jumping into the season with us. The Armory update, which we talked about a little bit, but fixed an issue where the Armory would load sorcerer enchantments that were not unlocked in some cases. Various fixes for missing or inaccurate icons and text. So the Armory is going to be something that they're going to keep on updating. I know that this is the very first iteration and people were very excited about it. And there are a lot of things that they're going to change. They're going to update. So don't worry, they're going to be coming. They've already talked about making adjustments. The stash space was thrown out there as an issue in the live stream. So they do know about it. It will be something they'll probably be adjusting. Various and lots of gameplay updates. So they're going to be adjusting a whole lot of things. We're going to start seeing some adjustments to probably some gear and some weapons and some of the bug fixes that they're going to be addressing in the upcoming hotfixes and patches. We're going to be getting a lot that's going to be happening. And they have been reacting very, very quickly to a lot of these issues with us here. Several user interface and user experience updates have been done. Then there were a lot of miscellaneous ones that were taken care of this patch also, including giving a little bit of love to the Eternal characters. Fix an issue where defeating the Echo of Lilith for the first time on an Eternal character did not reward a Resplendent Spark. So they're definitely thinking about the Eternal characters as well. They're also going to be updating a lot of the various performance and stability issues. I know that's still something that's going on for people, so they're going to be adjusting it every single time that they do a patch. Every single one that we've had has had something that they've been tackling. A couple different things that we had happen so far. We had an issue with the cleansing pyres. They all got taken down. They are back. I'm sure that you guys have already got to see them out there. Those are one of my favorites in the zone because the amount of rot that you can get from one cleansing pyre is huge. It's a great source of gear, a great source of rot. It's a lot of fun. Monsters just constantly keep on spawning. So that is now back. They also fixed an issue where loot could drop from exposed routes destroyed by other players. I'm sure if you were running around through the Headhunt zone, you would see loot everywhere that you had never been before. That was from all of these exposed routes that were being destroyed by other players. So that should fix up some of the clutter that's on the screen for you. And if you have not heard yet, there are two different witch powers that were doing some incredibly strong stuff. Decay Augmentation and the Twilight Warding have been disabled. Further updates on some of the upcoming changes. Why they pulled them. These were scaling up infinitely. It was doing a lot of damage. We had a Spiritborn that cleared a Pit 150 in less than 3 minutes, and Sorks went from... And Fireball Sorks started blasting their way through Pit 150. Now, these were exactly the same thing that happened to the Druid, where the Druid was using Cataclysm to scale up infinitely with one of the overpower witch powers. This is the same exact thing that was happening. Blizzard is not letting any of those uncontrollable bugs go on this season, so they're fixing them right away. The witch powers are being adjusted. Hello, all. We have seen some reports related to the very egregious numbers coming from some of the builds and classes. The team has fixes underway, but in the meantime, we will be disabling the Decay Augmentation Witchcraft power in the game, as this is tied to some of those issues. This means players will not be able to equip the power at this time. Players can still purchase this power, but you will not receive it. We do recommend against doing this until the power has been re-enabled. We'll be working on a fix and bringing this back to players next week. The team will attempt to see if we can do this via a server hotfix, but if we can't get this in via a hotfix, then we will be looking at a client patch shortly after the 2.1.1 is released. Additionally, we want to provide a few other updates on other class items we have seen bubbling up to the top of the conversations. Now, for all of you necromancers out there, and I even had somebody go so far as to tell me in the comments that they were going to quit playing the game completely if they didn't get this ring fixed because they really love playing minions. So here you go, everybody. We got the fix coming in. It's been on the radar, so we're going to see this back in the game. There is currently an issue with the Ring of Mendeln and its interactions with the minion builds. We do have a release for it, and it is slated for 2.1.2. Barbarians, we have implemented a fix for the Mantle's Fury back during the hotfix of 2.1.0. Since then, we have had some much better results, but we have noticed that some of the confusion related to the damage over time from the quakes and the explosion damage has been inconsistent. We do plan on addressing this, which will result in some further strengthening to the build. We do want to note that we will be looking at this build and doing some balance tweaks as we start the next season. So what it looks like, they're going to be addressing the issues with the Mantle of Mountain Fury, which everybody has been very excited to play. It does look like it is a little overtuned for what they were expecting, so I think when they fix it, we're probably going to see some pretty big numbers. That also means that next season, expect to see a lot less. Don't go into the season expecting to feel exactly like you did with this build. The numbers are probably going to scale up pretty high once we get this fix. But then once we get into season 8, we're going to see a little bit of a decrease in how much that's hitting for. So just expect that. This is just a few of the items that we're looking at. And there are many more, including game loading issues, client stability, and other class-related items that go beyond the list above. We appreciate the feedback and everyone hopping into Season 7 to check out the new Witchcraft powers. So there's a lot of updates that are going to be coming and a lot of really good ones. Necromancers, you're getting it back. Barbarians, like me, you can hop on and get your Mantle's Fury. I'm already hitting for trillions with it, so I don't even know what it's going to do when it hits after this patch, but it's going to be pretty crazy. Blizzard has done a great job this season of reacting to a lot of the things that have been bugged and have been plaguing the season. So I'm very excited to see where the future goes. I'm very excited for the rest of the season and Season 8 to hit because I think it's going to be a good one. I'm going to be gone from February 4th for just 1 week. I'll be back after that and we'll start the live streams back over again. I'm heading over to the East Coast. So for now, I'm live every night. Just for that week, I'll be gone and then I'll see you all after.